எங்களுடைய கல்லூரி அரங்கினை செய்தமைக்காக நன்றி.
Meeting.
Okay, now it is exactly time. Our principal has come. We can start our program. வாழிய செந்தமிழ், வாழிய நற்றமிழர், வாழிய பாரத மணித்திருநாடு, வாழிய வாழிய வையகம். Good morning, one and all. Today, 19/5/2021 at 10:30, we, the Department of English and IQAC of our college, jointly conduct a webinar on ethics of communication. This is a auspicious occasion. Great personalities like our principal, our HOD madam, an erudite scholar to enlighten us, Dr. L. Ronald David, all have come, and our students and our faculty are also waiting to enjoy the discourse delivered by Dr. L. Ronald David. So on behalf of Department of English, I welcome all. First of all, I wholeheartedly welcome our honorable principal, who is the backbone of all our activities, who has, amidst her tight schedule, visited us to honor the program. I welcome you, ma'am. I welcome our HOD, who is a very great source of inspiration for sisters and the teaching fraternity. Without her, we cannot do anything. Nothing will move in our department. She is a role model for active participation in both big and small activities. And she is not only a role model for the students, but also for the teachers. I heartily welcome our HOD madam, Dr. G.S. Angeline ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. I welcome all our teaching fraternity, Dr. Rajaram sir, Dr. Sumati madam, Dr. Saktivel sir, Hema ma'am, Vimala ma'am, Surya ma'am, all faculty and all faculty belonging to other departments, and our students of Department of English and students belonging to other departments. I wholeheartedly welcome you, because communication is common to everybody. Without communication, there is no life. If there is, if we lose our ability to communicate, means we lose our ability to live also. And being students of English and science, we very well know that there are number of ways, number of methods, number of tools for us to communicate effectively. But the ethics, as far as ethics is concerned, so many things we know about it. It is related to our moral ways and emotional and feelings. The dimensions are involved in ethics of communication. And this ethics distinguishes man, animals and other living beings. And when I refer to browse actually in the internet about ethics of communication, in Wikipedia it is mentioned that ethics related to communication start from Socrates and Plato. But I do not agree with that idea, because already our Thiruvalluvar, who is senior to Socrates and Aristotle, has mentioned a lot about ethics. As far as oral communication is concerned, we can quote a number of Thirukkurals. For example, இனிய உளவாக இன்னாத கூறல், கூறல் கனி இருப்ப காய் கவர்ந்தற்று. கூறல் refers to oral communication. See how we have to communicate? It should be in a pleasant way, right? In the same way, a number of Thirukkurals. யாகாவாராயினும் நாகாக்க காவாக்கால் சோகாப்பர் சொல்லிலுக்கு பட்டு, Thiruvalluvar has said already. In related to truth also he has mentioned, he has given one kural. வாய்மை எனப்படுவது யாதெனின் யாதென்றும் தீதிலா சொல். Like that, a number of ethics related to communication have been mentioned by Thiruvalluvar. But in course of time, the same idea has been approached in different ways. Different scholars have presented different ideas in association with the ethics of communication. So in order to enlighten us, our erudite scholar, our resource person, Dr. L. Ronald David has come here, and I wholeheartedly invite him and I welcome him to present his discourse. Please welcome. You can begin your discourse, sir.
Good morning, ma'am. Am I audible? I hope we have poor reception here, but let me know if I'm not audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Good morning, every one of you. I'm really happy to be here in this online mode. At the outset, I would like to place on record my sincere thanks to the principal, ma'am, for having me for this lecture, and I would like to place on record my thanks to the Department of English and all of the teaching fraternity, members of the teaching fraternity, especially to the convener, Kartika Devi ma'am, who has been my friend for a very long time, and it's happy to have kind of association where we share a lot of academics and intellectual thoughts. And today I think the topic given to me and all of us is ethics of communication, which is the need of the hour. I would say, like, you find if you open Facebook today or any electronic media for that matters, like what the news that comes flashes right in front of us, it's really scary. Instead of consoling us, instead of comforting us, what we see there is sometimes the manipulation or sometimes fabricated ideas that really what to say, it feeds the fear and makes things worse. Given under this circumstances, I would say it's a very apt topic to talk about the ethics in communication. So, I'm audible now. Like, if others could, ma'am, am I audible?
You are audible, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
sir. Yes, sir.
So, without wasting much of the time, I would like to present a slide. And think in much of talking, I think thinking is murdered. So, if you can see those things and if you're able to follow, that will be fine. I would like to drive home a few points today and what should be done in communication, because it's a large area. Ethics of communication, you can talk about a lot of things, but I've tried my best to limit it to the time given to me, and I'll try to do justice to it. And if you have any questions, and you can just post it at the end of the session. I would like to share the screen. Just let me know if you can see the screen. Were you able to see the screen, everyone?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Okay, we'll do that. Okay. So we are talking about ethics of communication. So first thing you should understand is what is ethics. I'll not go to the basic definition of things. I think ethics is not a separate subject to study. First of all, ethics is involved intricately in all things we do, because our society, our people, or the listeners, anybody who is just listening to us, and just a second, whoever is listening to the lecture now, or whoever is just watching it from some other medium, we have a set of goals and regulations running in the back of our mind, how to behave, what to convey, and what not to convey, how to listen and how not to listen. All these things are there. See, I could see someone is scribbling there on the screen. That's okay, that's fine. That's okay. I'm going to talk about it. So this is called the expected desired behavior pattern of people. See, some they find fun in just doing it. And what am I supposed to do now? If I thing is like, it is not welcome, but okay, we understand things and we just accept things because that's how students behave in the first place. So see, I could see a lot of people scribbling it there. Please do not use it. Host, you can just I think you can stop them from doing all those things. Okay. So what is expected and desirable accepted standard code of conduct in a particular situation is called ethics. For example, we are talking about ethics in classroom behavior, ethics in interpersonal behavior, ethics in a boardroom, ethics in a kind of, what to say, in a common place, even ethics in party. Which means, what is ethics is like there are set of desirable and accepted standard in the code of conduct. Which means, like, if you go beyond it or if you underplay it, that is not desirable. So what is ethics of communication? Is communication is an umbrella term. I'm going to talk about it. It's not just what we talk. It's not about language alone. Communication is how I'm supposed to carry myself in the way I dress, talk, walk, look, everything. That comes under communication. But the ethics of communication is what is desirable, what purpose, for what purpose I'm doing certain thing should be justifiable. Okay, be the leader, teacher, father, any role you play in a society, even as a student who's listening to this, there are certain set of responsibilities you and I have in which we are supposed to adhere to it so that the society runs smooth. Things go smooth. And if you breach that code of conduct, if you just violate that code of conduct, there is a kind of discrepancy comes. There is a lot of, what to say, heated arguments sometimes, and things are not going in a smooth way. So I can bring in like wearing mask, to wear mask or not to wear mask, to maintain social distance. All these things are stipulated by the government, and how we take that. These are some ethics. There are some ethical standards we have to follow, some responsibilities we have to take. Rather than arguing with the higher authorities, rather than just justifying our stance, it is good for the larger people. So that is called the ethical part of it. Okay. So ethics in communication, it's not like if I'm going to talk to Karthika madam, for example, or to the principal ma'am, or to some student, I don't invent a set of behavior so that I want to impress them. No, not like that. There is a set rule which is there already, and I'm not supposed to what to say, go away from it. For example, my tone, my tonality, choice of words, respect, everything is there when I talk to the principal or to my higher authorities or to the student. There is a set of limits in which I have to follow. If I break that code of conduct, there comes a breach of ethics in communication. Naturally, the purpose of communication is not served. For example, in a classroom behavior, it is always recommended that teachers are really friendly to the students. But being friendly doesn't mean that you can break the code of classroom ethics. If you break the code of classroom ethics, it becomes like a cafeteria then. The knowledge sharing is affected. So there is the role of a teacher and a student. A student should be knowledgeable, a teacher should also be knowledgeable. There's a set of sharing that happens. But if you break that ethics in communication, in the classroom communication, what happens is there'll be a lot of jokes, sharing, laughing, that's good. But knowledge sharing is tampered. So, which means there are set of principles that are inherent in communication, which a student, teacher, or any educated individual should be aware of. So that's what we're going to talk about. Which means I'll say there are certain responsibilities I have. For example, ma'am has called me for this online lecture, which means I cannot just come and talk and go like that just because I know. But there are certain requirements, there are certain assumptions from my side and your side which I have to fulfill. So that is called the ethics behind it. So that's the ethical part of it. For everything that we do under the sky and on the earth, there are ethics attached to it. Only thing is we are not aware of it, or we breach the code of conduct. So what is more important, I'll tell you. See, for example, one of my friend is committing a mistake, right? Sometimes if one of my friend comes in a dress and asks me how the shirt looks like, I would say it looks good. Though it is bad, I would say I will utter a white lie. You know what is a white lie? A lie that doesn't harm people. White lie. So white lies are good. people say white lies are good. That is okay, that is accepted, so that I keep my family members, others happy. But sometimes if we keep on telling white lies, sometimes we go colorblind. We'll not, we'll be in a position to say lie often. That can land us in trouble. So ethical standard is, it is always better you know the consequence of what you do. You know the consequence of what you speak rather than taking up the choices. In communication, that's very important. Just to please a student, just to please a teacher, I say something and I create a false kind of expectations and I have to live by it. But it is always better you say whatever you feel like. That's the standard. That's the ethics of communication. I'm being transparent. I just speak what I think. That's the most important thing. So we should always think in terms of consequences. For people, for students, I'll tell you, if you don't understand a lesson, your teacher is teaching you, just because you like the teacher, don't say like that's we'll manage with a guide, we'll study. No, it is your duty to tell the teacher, at least after the class, that you have not understood. So what you're doing is, you're not finding fault with the teacher, you're just helping the teacher, you're giving them a feedback so that they can teach you in a better way. Even for teacher that matters, you should be in a position to assess the class and know the student, so that you should tell them, you should be in a position to call a spade and call them, like if they don't understand, you should be in a position to teach them better, or give them like enough space and freedom to talk to you. Sometimes what people do is they please the student just to not you, I'm saying, like, oh, you're all experts there, you're fortunate to study under good professors, I would say. But generally what they do is they try to be friends with students just to camouflage their inefficiencies. Even students try to bribe the teacher by being good like that, to camouflage their inefficiency in studies. So these are the things where the ethics in communication is breached. So this is where the standard is not reached. You understand? Being friends with teacher, being friends with students, with others is okay, but when it comes to academics, there are standards in which you have to reach. There is no compromise in that. That's the most important thing I like to drive home today, because when the standard is reached there, I think you're just helping your students or teacher to better themselves. Okay? So sometimes we should call a spade a spade. Sometimes we can use white lies. Sometimes we have to speak the truth in order so that the ethics or the values or the assumptions of doing a particular thing is not tampered. Okay, so now we'll get into the interesting. I would request all of us to mute the mic. Like if you want to ask questions, maybe you can do it the last. So there is always a kind of assumption that going. There's two kind of assumption people have. One is like communication is equal to language skill. This I come across every day. People say if you have good language skills, it means you have good communication. No, you're totally wrong, because though language skill plays a major role in communication, communication is totally a different aspect of it. For example, I can speak good English, I can write good English, doesn't mean that I'm a good communicator. No. Communication is a two-way process, and it is always the receiving end oriented. It is oriented on the receiving end. So communication, as you say in the slide, is an umbrella term. It involves a lot of things. My posture, my tonality, the body language, the time of the day, how I look, even my looks, everything. But language is just a skill. Language, like if you master listening, reading, speaking and writing, how to articulate your ideas, it's fine. But how you articulate, when it all involves communication. So communication is an art in which you have to master. There are certain things you're not supposed to say in a certain place. Right? So knowing is knowledge, but when to put it, where to put it is wisdom. Communication involves both. So as I told you, ethics is not an ingredient but an indispensable entity, which means ethics is not something desirable in communication, but it is the must. So it is the must. It is already there. Only thing is we need to be aware of it and act according to it. So I'll tell you, like if you want to buy all my comments, as a teacher, if I come to your class as a student, if you're going to really buy all my comments and ideas, I have to live up to my word. That's the most important thing. So the reception of my communication, the reception of my ideals and ideas are only accepted if I live up to the standard. You understand? That's the most important thing. If I should be an example as a teacher, as a student also, you should set an example to yourself, which means you should have certain standards so that your ideas, your words are respected. That is where the ethical part comes into play. It is not my language skill, my writing skill, my speaking skill. It's all good. It's all good, fine. But if I don't live up to my word, if I don't create that kind of ambience wherever I go, my words will not be respected. It will not be received properly. So I have to live up to it. You understand? So what is living up to it? So you should always remember, right? Always living up to is like I should act. I should walk the talk. I should be, if I say I'm knowledgeable, it's not reciting some books and just coming and just vomiting it. It's not reciting from some guides and writing the exams and scoring marks. Does it make you a good student or a good teacher? No, I don't think so. Which means you should ooze out knowledge. Use of knowledge in a sense, you should be compassionate, you should be passionate towards your profession, and you should also in a way to articulate your ideas in a better way any time of the day. Any time of the day. That's where a student will look up to you for knowledge. Even your friends will look up, as a student, your friends will look up to you for some kind of help if you're really good enough as a personality. So if that is happening there, then if I communicate, if I talk, my words will have some value. So how can I build it? It is not nowadays, sadly I would say, communication classes are only like teaching them how to speak English, how to listen to it, how to write, speak in a good accent. That's all good. That's all accepted. But the thing is, like, there is always a lot of things that's happening in the internet. People are being, gripped under fear. And if you want to sell that kind of idea, for example, advertisements are something where I would like to draw your attention to. Advertisements are something where you get a lot of information, and it is also equally gullible. And if you see the news, the media is like projecting awareness as well as fear also. That is the area where you should have ethics in communication. What am I trying to give to people? Am I trying to cause fear and panic? Or I'm just giving them awareness and also consoling them. So this is the stance where media, or you and I can do it, doctors, they can do it, everyone in the field can do it. When as a student I approach a teacher, does the teacher really console me, give me the proper information and give me a kind of encouragement so that I can do it, or are they scaring me? You cannot do it, and it's tough. I think for your caliber, I don't think you can do it. If those are the words that is coming out of the teacher, I think naturally what I do is I'm just spoiling that particular candidate. So is my language wrong? No. Did I commit a grammar mistake? No. My language is good. My subject knowledge is good. What am I doing with the communication my student is? What I'm doing is I'm really scaring them. So my ethics is lost. Like, I'm just breaching the code of ethics. As a communicator, as a communicator or counselor, as a teacher, what I should do is I should encourage them to do better. So that's the role. It is somewhere where we lose our ethics. That is where we should come back. It's high time we go back and just redo our basics so that the academics and the education, the quality of education improves. So that's what I've given here. So if I don't live up to the doctrine, if I'm not very faithful to the very purpose of communication or very purpose of my profession, then I think whatever I talk, ounce and volumes of knowledge will be wasted, because it will not penetrate in the minds of people, because my life is not like that. Which means, like, I don't really console them. I'm just like one kind of, an encyclopedia who's standing in the class and just delivering lectures, or an encyclopedia who's sitting in the class and writing exams, scoring marks. But I'm not influential. I'm not making others happy. So that is where the ethics play a role. So Robin Sharma, I think, in his book Who Will Cry When You Die, so he says, like, it's always better under promise and over. This is the kind of key I'll give you. Sometimes we make a lot of promises, we don't live by it, sadly. Maybe like any individual, we make a lot of promises, we don't live by it. Generally what we should do is we should not give someone a kind of false promise, it's better you can tell them plainly what you can do, and if you can do better, that will be better. For example, let's call under promise. If I can deliver 60%, I should promise only 50% to them, and if I deliver 60%, naturally that can boost their confidence. That's good. Supposing I say I'll give you 90%, I'll help you 90%. If I'm not able to give them at least 40%, that can really disturb their confidence. I'll be betraying their confidence. You understand? Why I'm quoting this is like, in all our communication, we pose ourselves in certain way that we are knowledgeable, we can do a lot of things, but when people really approach us, we don't really appreciate them, we don't really help them, maybe because of a lack of knowledge, or maybe we have promised them something which we cannot do. So it is the key where you have to understand, our ego will write a check which our body cannot cash. So that is where the ethics come to. So you should be faithful, you should be transparent, you should also learn to say no when you don't know. For example, if a student comes to me and asks about, like, sir, what is campus novels? I should not say that, okay, what if I tell them I don't know, maybe I'll read and tell you. That's a good answer. That is the ethics beyond a proper communication. Instead, I just project myself, oh, campus novels, I know, like, there's a lot of things, but I don't think he can do it. Maybe like you come and meet me next day he comes again, I evade that question just because I'm not aware of campus novels. I should not give him a kind of false hope as a teacher. Even as a student also, if you don't know something, don't project yourself as if you know something. Kind of wiseacre, that's a word. Wiseacres are people who just project themselves to be a know-all of everything, but they don't know. It is always better in a communication paradigm where you understand things in a better way. If you don't know, you should also learn to say no. Right? So what you should, when a flower doesn't bloom, you need to fix the environment in which it grows, not the flower. So we are trying to fix the flower based on the environment. No. You should change the environment so that it blossoms. Even in college or in school, it's the environment, it's the ambience that needs a change. So the communicative ambience should be there. The ethical principles in communication should be transparent enough that students feel free to talk to it. Right? So they don't want to go camouflage their ideas, or they don't want to be a prey to deceit or something. We should create a kind of ambience where they can talk. They can express their ideas freely without any fear. Okay. So this is one point I would like to, especially for students and teachers, even my friends there. This is what my guru has taught me. It's like, walk the talk. Supposing like you're talking about communication, you're talking about ethics, everything. Make sure at least you follow that 30%. As a student also, you should remember that it's not what I behave in the class or at home. It's important. Whatever you do in this world, you're writing your autobiography in motion. Everyone is watching you. You're communicating 24/7. So that's the kind of thing, that awareness you should have. I should not set a wrong example. Maybe in the class, one class I say assignments are very important, I'll read it line by line, threadbare, I'll give you marks. Maybe the third assignment, I don't even read the assignments, I give marks for all the people who have submitted or may not submitted. As a teacher, if I do it, the next assignment, what my students will think is, okay, these people will give marks. So what I'm setting is like, I'm failing in my ethical code of conduct, whereas I'm giving a kind of false hope students. Sometimes I'm really, I read the assignments and give them marks and comments that will improve. Maybe the third or fourth assignments, I don't even read at all. I just give them full marks. So what I'm setting as like, I'm failing in my communication, I'm failing in my standard code of conduct. This is where the problem comes. This is where the academical standard dips in. So this is where I have to be, I have to be consistent. I have to be consistent in the way I deal with certain aspects. That's the basics of ethics in communication. I have a lot to say, but I'll just skip through it. Ma'am, just remind me if I'm just exceeding the time. So I'll try to finish within 40 minutes.
You can proceed, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
No, you can proceed.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Up to 11:30, you can speak.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you, ma'am. So what's the first thing I like to address to all the students out here, my friends here? You're all learned. Some are more experienced. Some are even for example, I used to see guidance from Kartikeya ma'am and other ma'ams there also there, which means like it doesn't mean that you're going to step down or something. Whenever you know, if you don't know something, people experience is the best teacher, and if you look up to someone for guidance, it's always better. I would say as a student, don't think marks are mere numbers. I would say marks are mere numbers. Numbers speak, but just marks alone won't help. There are some standard we have to develop as an individual, and once the standard that's more desirable is your communication, the way you carry yourself in a particular place. Okay, so the attitude is more important. As a teacher, my attitude; as a student, my attitude; as a brother, as a sister, my attitude towards that particular role I take is more important. That's where your attitude decides your altitude. That's a saying, right? So mean what you say and don't be mean. So that's the most important thing. Our mood swings are there, but we cannot carry our mood swings into all the communication we have. Of course, we are human. I understand that. We have mood swings, everything there. But in a classroom atmosphere, we should know what to stop, what to filter, and how to focus there. There are two things you can do as a student. One is like you can at least listen to the teacher and ask some questions. So that will be better mileage. Or at least you can pretend. There are third group of students who don't do these two things. They try to disturb other things. That's where the ethical code of conduct is breached. That will spoil the whole classroom atmosphere. That will make teachers, that will spoil or tamper the relationship between teacher and the student. So these are things where I'm not doing a kind of moral class. Don't mistake me. Like one thing you should understand is we should know a sense of place, sense of time, everything as a teacher, as a student. And if you're not okay with that, at least what you can do is you can be silent. You can be a silent observer, or you can pretend. But what some people do is they want to make the best out of every situation. When the mood swing, if they are not in good mood, they want the class to be disturbed. That is where you go wrong. That is where our communication, our ethics go wrong in communication. Right? So if I'm a teacher, if I carry my mood swing from my home to the class, that is where the teacher becomes a torture to the students, because I fail to live up to the standard expected of a teacher in that particular class. So there are roles we have to play. We should know how to switch roles there. Even a student to a word receptacle. A student will always listen to a lot of stories uttered by a teacher. When something knowledgeable happens, they'll sit simply. That's why there's a funny saying I would like to remind you. There are only three kinds of students in a class. Only three kinds of people or students. Some make wonders happen. They'll answer everything and all. They make wonders happen. Some see wonders happen, which means the student friend, you'll see, oh, this student is answering. The third kind of group is called some wonder what happens. They'll be totally not aware of anything that's happening there. That is called word receptacle. Whatever teacher talks, they'll be like that. Only in the exams, they'll be searching for their notes and doings. That's of no use. Right? So bad attitude I will talk about. When you come to ethics and communication, one of the things, it's all attitude. Our bad attitude is like a flat tire. It's like a punctured tire. It will not take you anywhere. Right? So I'll tell you, your attitude as a student, as a teacher, your attitude towards a particular thing is like a price tag. It shows your value. So if I want to command respect from my student, I should not demand it. I should command respect from my students. I should have certain ethical values in me. Whenever I say something, I do it. And I also tell the students I care for them, which means my action supports the statement which I make. Right? The next one is, these are all called disharmony. The disharmony, I like to tell you, this is one that affects our education also. Education or even communication is, what are the disharmony is like, people who know, I know a lot of things, but I fail to apply it. That's the first category. We know a lot of things. We know how to behave in class, but we fail to apply it because we want to be friends with someone. We don't want to spoil the mood. So we join with them and do it. Right? So one who knows can't apply. One who can apply but can't do, which means they can apply it, they can do it, but the thing is like they don't live by it. like teachers, like they know they want to apply it on others, other situations they do, for other matters they do it. On a personal ground they cannot do it because they don't want that. Third one can do but won't do. This is the most dangerous one. They can do, they have the caliber of doing, they can listen patiently, they can take notes, they can study well, they can ask questions, but they won't do. Maybe laziness, a lackadaisical approach, or they don't want to. So this is where you have to rewind ourselves, right? Rewind ourselves, revisit our own things and try to mend it. So this is not one kind of lecture, it's not killing time. I'll tell you, like, even I have to go back after this lecture, I have to go back and check what I've done is right or wrong, things like that. So we can see, always you should believe that there is always room for improvement, there is always room for mending, right? There is always room for patching up things to be better human beings, right? So this is where we talk about ethics. This is where ethics in communication, not what talking alone means, it's how I carry myself as a husband or as a student or a son or teacher, whatever role you are in. There are set of rules that are desirable, you're supposed to do it. Am I doing that faithfully? That's the thing, that's the need of the hour. Okay, so we'll go to the most important thing. I like to quote Swami Vivekananda. He says, harmonious development of head, hand and the heart is hallmark of successful professionals. Which means some people just do it for the sake of doing it. பண்ணி தொலைச்சிரும் அப்படின்னு போகிறது வைக்க. Some people are more involved emotionally they do, but they, okay, I don't know, like some channel noise is fine. Okay, what's the need of the hour is, like, some people, I don't know, like if you're thing is, like, they don't put their heart in wherever they whatever they do. For example, I'll give you an example right now. Whatever a teacher, they want a teacher to be like a stand-up comedian, always cracking jokes, having fun, enjoy, that is good. But what values do you take away? The takeaways are very limited here. When people talk about knowledge and things like that, we feel bored. When people talk about making us laugh, all those things, like, we are happy. Okay, there should be a mixture of both, I'll say. But there should be harmonious development of head, hand and the heart, which means whatever you do, it should not be forced. You should love that thing and do it. So that's the most important thing. So you should have a right mixture of legal, ethical and moral aspects. Even for students and teachers, I would say you should be morally good. I try to be legally, it should be acceptable, and it should also have some ethical principles. You should fulfill the expectations of things. Okay, there's a story I like to tell you, like, because everybody thinks they know something, like, why should they have a lecture on ethics on communication, or we communicate well. There was a scientist, I think, who was trying to study the he thought he knew everything. He wanted to study the character of a gorilla. You know what a gorilla is, right? Fine. What he did is, he put the gorilla in a room. ஒரு ரூமில் போட்டு ஃபுல்லாக அடைச்சி வச்சுட்டார் கொரில்லாவை. There is no window, nothing is there, only a keyhole is visible. And he put a banana there, like plantain, வாழைத்தார் தொங்க விட்டுட்டு ஒரு குச்சியும் டேபிளும் போட்டார். கொரில்லா உள்ளே அடிச்சிட்டார். உள்ளே அடிச்சுட்டு 5 minutes ஆச்சு. 5 minutes ஆன பிறகு என்ன பார்க்குறாருன்னா, ஒரு சவுண்டுமே கேட்கல, எல்லாத்தையும் க்ளோஸ் பண்ணிட்டார், ஒன்றுமே இல்லை. He want to check what the gorilla is doing, right? So what he thought is, like, okay, நான் 5 நிமிஷம் ஆச்சு ஒன்றுமே தெரியலன்ட்டு மெதுவாக போய் அந்த கீ ஹோல் வழியாக பார்க்குறாரு. கீ ஹோல் அதில் சாவி போடுற துவாரம் இருக்குல்ல, அது வழியாக பார்க்குறாரு. 5 minutes ஆச்சு, ஒன்றுமே சவுண்ட் இல்லைன்னு போய் பார்க்குறாரு. ஒருவேளை அவர் என்ன நினச்சாருன்னா, அந்த குச்சியை வச்சு அடிக்குதோ, அந்த வாழைப்பழத்தை எடுக்க ஏதோ ட்ரை பண்ணுதா கொரில்லான்னு பார்க்கலான்றாரு. பட் வாட் ஹேப்பன்ட் இஸ், டு இஸ் அஸ்டானிஷ்மெண்ட், என்னென்னா, மெதுவாக போய் இந்த கீ ஹோலை பார்த்தா அந்த கீ ஹோல் வழியே வேற பார்த்துட்டு இருந்துச்சு 5 நிமிஷம் அந்த கொரில்லா. Why I'm going to tell you this is, like, sometimes we think we take people for granted. இப்படி தான் பிஹேவ் பண்ணுவாங்க, இப்படி தான் இருப்பாங்க அப்படின்னு we think, but people have other ideas, interesting ideas. So we should also be open to accept things. We should also be open to accept things, and we should also be inclusive of those ideas without breaching the code of conduct, without breaching what's the discipline. So what are the points which, as from a teacher, what I think is, like, points to ponder is, like, what, whenever when you talk about communication in a classroom, these are the things that stops me. it bothers me. One is like personal bias is unethical. எனக்கு இவரை பிடிக்கல, மொக்கையாக இருக்குது lecture, so I don't want to listen. What? I call 3 or 4 of my friends and ask them not to listen. Play some game, doodling in the class, draw some diagram. This is called personal bias. It's unethical. Even as a teacher, I like a student, I don't mind whatever they do. I just give them marks. So personal bias can result in poor communication, reception career, or prejudice, I will say. Even prejudice, for example, prejudice is something where what we think is like, this teacher, half an hour, it's wasted. So sometimes prejudice can tamper our things. So these you have to avoid. So examples of bias are given. Teacher's favorite, better grades. Do they deserve their grades? We don't know. Because they do all the things of a teacher, they give them better grades. If somebody questions, we don't like them, we don't give better grades. These all things, this is not ethical in communication. Sometimes we think the people who never talk in the class are stupid. Not like that. So we should be proper. We should give them enough space and time to explore. Okay. So what we do in communication, for example, I could see some people are like, adenna waste in the lecture, abdinnu nenicha, that's called you are manipulating or motivating others. What does your communication reflect? So it all depends on our need. Sometimes our need, also our mood swings also. Sometimes our mood swings are not okay. Doesn't mean that those who are talking at the other end are fools. At least you can just lend a helping ear. You might not know, some information can be what? That can be a life-changing stuff. Right? And this is what happens. They don't buy my ideas, or I don't respect their proposal statements. Teacher doesn't respect me, or teacher doesn't give me marks, so I don't want to listen to our class. You can create a kind of prejudice. So this is not ethically correct in communication. But you should be in a position to go and talk to the teacher what you think. Try to mend things. These are the most important thing. So it's time to be inclusive and receptive. I know this is not much area to explore, but this is very important. So language, either we use language to convince or confuse others. That's the most important thing. Given this media news that pops up in the Facebook, in the news bulletin, sometimes it really kindles our fear. More than giving awareness, it keeps in a state of panic. So what choice of language we use? Either we want to convince people or we want to confuse them. Or maybe the 4 languages will be, do you want to listen to understand or to question? Unfortunately, we listen to only question people. So what we speak, we speak to convey what we mean, right? You can talk softly to people to convey ideas. Doesn't mean that some people want to exercise their authority, whereas what you do is you totally take the right mood out of the listener. When you want to boss over others, as a teacher or even as a student, shouting at others doesn't mean that you are being right. So you should think of that. These are all ethical values in communications. Right? Reading can eradicate ignorance. So you should read people, you should read the minds of people, you should read the person, you should being empathetic. I think you can at least put yourself in their shoes. Some people come and say what these people are talking are like, they don't know what they're talking, it's boring, sir. Just put yourself in their shoes. Can you deliver a webinar at that particular time with a smiling face? Even the audience is not listening, there is no sign of life in the audience. They talk to each other, they smile without any remorse. That particular lecturer was able to deliver it. So you should admire that quality. So that's called reading people, reading the minds, being empathetic. Can you do the same? If you put yourself in their shoes, you'll become empathetic. That's the ethics involved in it. That is the value of communication. Right? So it should read the situation also. Writing. I would say, as students, friends here, I'll say, writing, it's your personality. When teacher asks you about tests of the D or vowels or any criticism, what do you think you have to put? It's not just, what Dr. Samutrakani thinks in Vasan's. It's good. Vasan's guide is okay for reference. But what you think is more important. What you want to reflect. What you've understood. Right? So it's all discussions, no directions. That's wrong in communication. It should direct towards a certain point. Even your writing is a kind of communicating. Sometimes you just make writing of, if you don't know the answer, you should be in a position to tell your teachers like, you have not prepared, that's fine. But don't write something and make your teachers detectives also. Some handwritings are like கண்டுபிடிங்கள் பார்க்கலாம் இருக்கும். So sometimes don't do that, because that doesn't give, that's a small act of innocence, if you want to call it, at school days. Even in college, people try to, they ask me the questions I do not know, I gave them the answers which they'll never know. அப்படி தான் எழுதுறோம் exams. கண்டுபிடிங்கள் பார்க்கலாம் மாதிரி. Don't do that, because this will reflect as you grow up also, where you, if you don't know, you'll not say you have not understood, rather you just try to what, convince people or confuse people. That attitude sets in. So that is wrong. This is the wrong principle to do it, right? Let not your degrees be a legalized theatre. This is what I would like to talk to young students. When teacher gives you assignment, you should be in a position to tell them where you have taken that. Plagiarism is what you study, I hope so, but generally let your degree be what you have earned. The syllabus is prescribed by Mother Teresa University, fine. So what have you earned from that? It's not just you copy from some textbook, get marks and go. So this will reflect in the way you communicate with others. If you become teachers, or if you want to take this knowledge to some other limits, if you're not passionate about it, if you're not true to yourself, I think that will reflect in your character. So ethically, you should be inclined in whatever you do, whatever you communicate, right? So this is an important slide. This is an important slide. I think we have come to the end actually. Ethical communicator has a desire of truth and respect for the faction. So whatever you speak, maybe I'm not talking about what you do in a kiosk or in a cafeteria. That's okay. That's friendly talk. That's chit chat, sweet nothings. That's fine. But when you want to talk about, when you're giving a presentation, when you're talking about a seminar or something, you should be inclined to what you share passionately, and you should try to justify it. And you should have a kind of moral obligation to share the facts in a proper way. It's not something you want to dodge that idea, right? You should know what is the truth behind. Even if you're doing research or a project you write or a paper you publish, what is your contribution in that? That's the most important thing. As a person, what do I contribute? That's the most important thing. If I don't do that, there's no point. There's no point, right? What I do is I'm not a speaker, I'm just an amplifier, which means I take someone's idea and I amplify it, and I call myself a researcher. That is wrong. Okay? Okay, sharing adequate and accurate information with, that's more important thing. An ethical person in communication will share the knowledge which he has experienced or known for sure, without being kind of advertisements. They say like Fair and Lovely or whatever advertisements you get, 7 days fairer. Do you think that will happen? No. But again, we buy it, fall into it. This is an ad, we take it in lighter sense. In real time also, we do a lot of things in our communication. If you want to get things done, we try to cajole someone or flatter someone, try to draw them in. Yeah, that is wrong. That is wrong. You should be in a position to speak what you think. That's more important thing, without being gullible. Communication can be constructive or destructive. So that's one thing. As a teacher, I can make or break a student's confidence. As a student, as a friend, I can build or share, or I can just give them false information, misinformation. So are you ethically bound in communication? Do you have that moral responsibility? Are you sharing what you know for sure? Or am I just duplicating something or cooking up something for my personal benefits? These are all, it may sound moral, but thing is like, these are most important thing as a teacher. It's more important thing. Or are you authentic about what you share in the class? Are you authentic about what you write in the paper? Right? So that's more important. Lack of credibility, trust makes you a supervisor. So this is like, once I lose my trust, or once I fail to live up to my promises, I lose my grip on the students or the subject or the persons or in a society also. So if you lose your ethical values in communication or any things you do, you lose the grip on the society. You lose the value of yourself. So mild deviation to keep up words can be harmful in the long run. See, sometimes you fail. I told you in assignment. Sometimes you value the assignment. Sometimes you don't value. You give them marks. Sometimes you read the paper threadbare. Sometimes you don't. These can be harmful in the long run. Right? Breaking the truth is wrong. Bending is okay. That is wrong. Even bending is equal to breaking. Sometimes in academics, I'm talking about. So it is always, as a teacher, I would say you should be soft, you should be caring, and you should also be strong. You should also be strong. Like a water, as Bruce Lee tells you, like, be like a water. It's highly flexible, but when it hits you, it's really power. So you should have a combination of soft and strong when it comes to communication. So this is what I would like to share, an extra point. As a student, as a teacher, there's a kind of line you have to draw. As a friend, that's okay. But know your space. Don't suffocate. If I like someone, I cannot hug them so close they'll suffocate to death. No. I should give them their space. Being close is good with the students. Being close with the teacher is good. But when it comes to academics, there's a kind of thing you have to do it. That's called prosemics. You can read. So there's a species I given, like in a public. This is sometimes you are not supposed to lean over and look at someone's, even as a friend. There are spaces you have to respect. That's a social space. These are measurement that is given there. Maybe you can just check that. It is in Google. So what I'm trying to tell you is learn to respect the individual space of people. Metaphorically, physically also. Even lunchtime, I can see a lot of students when teacher writing, they just barge in and ask them some questions. You should learn to respect the privacy. Give them the space. Coming into principal's room or any room, there is a kind of decorum you have to follow. Even as students in the class, even getting into the students, even as teacher, I should respect their space. Right? So that's one thing we should be very careful. This is also a part and parcel of communication. Right? So be it classrooms, restrooms, or wherever it is, there's a kind of code of things you have to follow. And if you're not doing that, I think that makes our communication miserable. It makes our communication, even while you're talking in a mobile phone, in a crowded space, in an elevator, you should know the place. Sense of place, space is very important. So you might ask me, sir, does it come under communication? Exactly. This is what I'm trying. If I don't speak to people, but I convey a lot of ideas through my body language, that's the most important thing. Haptics, touch. I think now we have a lot of videos. So to touch others, or when to shake hands, when not to shake hands. These are things you should know. How I am responding to in a lecture, if I turn my face that way, if my body is turned that way, I'm just giving them a wrong signals to them. Smiling at the wrong juncture. That can really spoil the whole communication, whole rapport between the speaker and the listener, teacher and the student. So you should carry yourself in a particular way that you earn and deserve the respect. Otherwise, you either make it successful or break it. Right? So your body language, I can talk a lot on body language. I think you have experts at your college. Body language is very important. That's 70% of your communication. How to sit in a class, how to look someone in the eye, how to respond to a lecture, how to ask questions even. Some people, for the modern students, I don't know, they not like that. So sometimes you have to carry those things. These are the things that we are bound ethically. You cannot have a chat room conversation in a class. Classroom has a different ambience. This is where, sir, what is so important, sir? You can discuss everything is fine. But at academics, if the things comes into academics, if that breaks the kind of decorum, their knowledge sharing is affected. You can share a lot of knowledge, but there is no kind of seriousness. So they don't take home anything. That I find. Teacher being friendly, student being friendly is good. They like the teachers, give them good feedback. But what they take home is very limited, because there is where they fail in the ethical principles. How they should follow, in what way they should transfer knowledge. The amount of seriousness is missing. That is where, as a student, I should be serious in listening to the lectures. I should be serious in asking questions. I should be serious in teaching those stuff. Being friendly in the canteen, and it's fine. That's fine. But in a classroom, there are some ethical principles you have to do. As a communicator, I have my moral responsibility to transfer things in an authentic way. So these are most important things. So I would like to finish. That's my last slide actually. The most important in communication is hearing what isn't said. This is the most beautiful line by Peter Drucker. It means it's not always what teacher tells you, but you should also learn to know the gestures. You should read their sign languages, everything, what they're trying, how they serious or not. Even as a student, you should try to read people. Okay. So this is the most important thing. Sometimes silence is the best. It's not always talking. That's why I told you, in much of talking, thinking is murder. Sometimes silence is the language of God. All is by Rumi, which means sometimes it's the silence. If you observe, you give time. Time is the best judge. That will teach you a lot of things about what to do and what not to do. That's the happy news for you. Some cause happiness wherever they go, others whenever they go. Before the second line of this comes to truth, I would like to wind up my lecture here. So whatever you do, try to create a kind of happiness, which means if you want to create happiness and things, you should be a successful communicator. Being a successful communicator, you should know the purpose of why you communicate, what do's and don'ts of it, and you should stick to that so that your communication, your relationship becomes really good. Thank you. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, sir. Your discourse
Okay.
very useful, very informative.
Okay,
Girls,
ma'am.
if you have any doubts, you can ask him. Girls, if you
No,
have
if you-
any questions, you can ask, sir. Any question?
Hello, sir.
Hello, ma'am. Tell me.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Actually, I don't really have any questions. I just wanted to thank you.
Uh,
Really, that was an excellent session. You're such an engaging speaker. In the middle of the speech, you said that please don't mind me as I'm taking any moral classes. Of course, we are not, sir. You're talking about ethics here, and we definitely understand that ethics are the moral principles one should have in everything they do. And not everyone has time for looking into your actions. All they remember is what you said. So one's word is more important than anything. From your session, I get to know the point that what you mean and how you deliver it all that matters, no matter how much stuff you developed in your mind. So that was really an awesome session you have given to us. It was really a privilege listening to you.
Thank you. That's so kind of you to tell that. That's good. Thank you for your response, and that is really good to have such
Thank you
people
so
in the conversation, right? Thank you,
Yes,
Pa.
sir. We loved listening to you. Thank you so
Thank you.
much, sir.
That's so encouraging, right?
Keep on inspiring people.
Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Thank you for your feedback.
Such
If
an
there are
engaging speech.
oh, thank you, Pa. Thank you. That's so kind of you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pa.
Any other question? You can ask any question. Literature students, even from literature, you can ask any question.
Yeah, you can ask any questions, Pa. That's fine.
Sir is a versatile scholar in different areas of English literature. Anyone? Any question? Girls?
Ma'am, I
Is
think
there
that is
any question?
I think it's about for lunch, right? So I think that's natural for them. Just to listen, it's fine. I would like to thank you, especially Kartika ma'am, for just inviting me for this lecture. It was really good having students there talking to you. After a long time, I think we were able to talk online. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for having me here.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Your discourse was very, 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 very interesting, sir. It is
Okay, ma'am.
very useful also. So now the students may be very interested in knowing who our speaker is. Our speaker, Dr. L. Ronald David, is an assistant professor of English in Bishop Heber College, Trichy. He has guided more than 10 MPhil scholars. He has published and presented papers in various conferences and for various international journals. So if you have any doubt in literature and language, at any time you can ask him. Okay, girls? Okay, now it is time for expressing our gratitude. Now I ask one of our students, Ms. R. Sneha, second BA English Literature, to propose vote of thanks.
Good morning to all.
Sneha?
Ma'am?
Yes, you can proceed, Sneha.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning to all. I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. Let me, first of all, start by giving glory to the Almighty God for making today's webinar a resounding success. First and foremost, I thank our resource person, Dr. L. Ronald David, Assistant Professor of English at Bishop Heber College, Trichy, who, despite his busy schedule, has found time to grace this webinar. And I also express my heartfelt thanks to spend his wonderful time to improve our knowledge in ethics of communication. Thank you, sir. I thank our well-wisher principal, Dr. Anuradha, for her steadfast support, vision, and commitment. I thank our principal for her instant support for this webinar. We are grateful to our HOD ma'am, Dr. G.S. Angeline, for her words of encouragement. Her able guidance has always encouraged us. I thank her for her kindness, her interest, and continued support. I owe special gratitude to our staffs of English department who have worked hard to ensure that this webinar becomes a memorable success. My heartfelt thanks to the heads of various departments and the faculty for their valuable contribution, guidance, and encouragement in all our efforts. Last but not the least, I thank you, my friends, for your cooperation in making this webinar a resounding success. Finally, I leave you this inspiring quote by Albert Einstein. Creativity is intelligent having fun. Creativity is intelligent having fun. Once again, I thank you all of you your attention. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ba. Thank you. That's so kind of you.
Okay. Thank you, Ratnakumari. Thank you. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very
Thank you,
much, sir.
ma'am. Take care, ma'am. Stay safe, ma'am. Bye, ma'am. Take
Okay,
care.
sir.
Take care, everyone.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye, sir. Thank you. Students, நீங்களாம் feedback form fill பண்ணி அனுப்பிருங்கப்பா.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you, sir. See you, sir.